अस्सलाम वालेकुम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
अ-
क्या हाल है?
मैं ठीक हूँ। आप कैसी हैं?
बिल्कुल ठीक, अच्छी लग रही हो माशाल्लाह।
आप भी बहुत अच्छी लग रही हैं माशाल्लाह। आपके बाइस बड़े अच्छे लगते हैं। आप कहाँ से लेती हैं? यहीं से लेती हैं?
ये तो दुबई का है।
आप
किसी
ज्यादातर
किसी से मंगवाया था मैंने, ज्यादातर तो नहीं, लेकिन कुछ हुए हैं जो दुबई के हैं।
यहाँ
जाके
से यहाँ से लिया कभी आपने? यहाँ से लिया कभी?
नहीं, यहाँ से नहीं लिया कभी,
अच्छा, जरूर।
ऑनलाइन लिया।
क्या बात है, क्या बात।
यहाँ समझ ही नहीं आते कभी, जाती भी नहीं हूँ मैं कहीं, घर में ही तो रहती हूँ।
कहीं नहीं
शॉप
जाती हो? फर्नीचर
शॉपिंग वॉपिंग नहीं करती।
फर्नीचर शॉपिंग करने को जाती हैं आप?
वो तो
इंटीरियर।
हेल्प करा रही हूँ, आज भी जाऊंगी अभी सारे उनके बाथरूम की सेटिंग कराने।
बहुत माशाल्लाह, उनका बड़ा घर है कि सेट होके नहीं दे रहा?
नहीं, एक्चुअली वो हर चीज ही नहीं ले रहे हैं,
अच्छा।
तो इसलिए टाइम लग रहा है।
अच्छा, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। अच्छा।
वालेकुम सलाम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातहू। अ प्लेट विथ फ्रूट्स।
ये अनम ने बनाई है वरना।
अनिला, आपकी ट्रिप कैसी रही?
हाँ जी, अल्लाह के शुक्र है, अच्छी रही।
कब आए आप लोग?
बेटी रोती हो निकल से। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। यू आर म्यूटेड सना।
Sorry. Walaikum assalam. How are you?
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर।
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, हाउ
Walaikum
आर
assalam. Good to see you, Mariam. First time.
Good to Sana too.
Anila, we want to see you too.
Just a minute, let me get my scarf first.
Sana, did you go to the mall yesterday, the premium outlet mall you were planning to go?
So we ended up, because it was a bit late and the plan changed, so we
Oh.
ended up actually taking our kids out for later on, like just took the kids out for dessert and,
Okay.
kind of hang out with kids. Yeah, because the boys would have been home, and then
Okay.
sometimes, we have to decide what we got to do because boys didn't want to stay. So.
Yeah.
And I don't like taking my boys to the mall. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
They find shopping boring.
They do, unless I'm keep buying stuff for them, then they're excited. If not, then no.
So Fatima isn't here. Oh, she's here, I think.
She's here. Walaikum assalam. If only you unmute your mic. You're muted.
Yes, now I'm good.
Alhamdulillah.
I had the mic problem. I couldn't connect it with this new computer, so I was
Oh,
trying to figure that out, but it didn't
by
work.
the way, congratulations on your new computer.
Thank you. So, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
How is everyone?
We're good. How are you, Fatima?
Alhamdulillah, good. How was your summer?
It's going good. Ending.
Ending, right?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I'll start. I'm not going to waste your time. So, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salam ala ashrafil mursalin, Sayyidina Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. I will share my computer first. So we receive.
So Sister Fatma is the instructor here, and Sister Sana Khan has joined us recently as Islamic Studies Advisor. And we are waiting for Maha.
Okay. So
Mariam,
should I wait?
see where Maha is?
We can wait for her. I'll wait for her.
Yeah.
I'll see.
Oh, she's asked you to share the Zoom link.
Oh, she's asking for the link. I'm gonna send her the link.
It is there. Yes, I'm sending.
Okay.
She's here. Alhamdulillah. Fatma is dropped. Yes, she is. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Fatma. Habibati, unmute yourself. We have to tell everybody to unmute.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Walaikum salam wa
How are
rahmatullah.
you, Sister Nair? How are you, everybody?
Alhamdulillah, bi khair. So you
Alhamdulillah.
see Sana here too.
Oh, Assalamu alaikum, Sana. How are
Walaikum
you?
assalam. Good. How are you? Alhamdulillah. I'm doing well.
Alhamdulillah. How was your day so far? Sorry for being late. I had trouble clicking on that link on the flyer you sent us.
Mhm, mhm.
هكا. السلام عليكم مها.
سلام فاطمة، لبس عليك.
الحمد لله كل شيء بخير.
Alhamdulillah.
Let me now share because I couldn't share when. And here you go. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, dear, we do.
Perfect. Okay, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil mursalin sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. I will start with myself and I'll just so sorry I didn't hear you, Ms. Nair. Did you say that who's joining us is Islamic studies? So you have
Sister Sana Khan.
Sana Khan, okay. So alhamdulillah, I'm just presented myself. I'll present myself since I'm doing a teacher trainings that we will have on August, so with the teachers. So before that, I actually am Fatima and I do teacher trainings for around in Houston. And I just recently opened my new company, Education Advancement. And the purpose of the company is to help schools and institutions around Houston in improving their education, basically, from technology to teachers, professional development, and also coaching. So multiple services for that. So that's the purpose of this. So the purpose of this training is before I start, the purpose of this training is actually to talk to the leaders, which are you, and to get them to discuss a plan for the school. So rather than just me coming in and giving you a plan, which makes me an outsider, then I rather like together we come up with a plan. So it's going to be interactive and we'll have more of a discussion than just me presenting something. So I'll start, since we're a small group, so it's good. You can unmute and just talk as much as you want. It's fine. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to start with the first question for all of you. I'll have a lot of questions. You know me, I do a lot of questioning. What are some things you are proud of from last year? So if you weren't here last year, I know it's going to be hard, but if you were here, then you can still, and you think you were here.
Alhamdulillah, we completed our goals. Whatever we set, alhamdulillah, we met them.
Which is like
small goals. They were whatever we planned, the events, the curriculum, lesson plans. Alhamdulillah, we managed to reach them, like at least complete them. Though definitely we want to improve, we need to improve, but at least we reached our goals. So improvement is always there, need for improvement. So Maha can tell about Quran in Arabic.
Yes, so I mean, I'm proud of a lot of things, honestly, and part of it's due to Sister Nair's approval and support, and also from other team members from our staff group. We were able to have good lesson plans for each class of last year. So we were able to have that at least, on a steady manner. So every week we had instructors completing lesson plans, few missing here and there, but overall it was, achievable. Instructors now are understanding and adhering to the idea that lesson planning is very important and it's part of their tasks as a teacher. We also achieved class and teacher observations, teacher evaluation and class observations, and it helped a lot. We also achieved, I want to say, a lot of organizational goals. So things like going to Salat, you know, the whole logistic behind, you know, attending the assembly, going to the classroom, from the classroom going to the recess time, then going back to classes, then going to wudu, then going from there to Salat again. So I feel like we have a structure now, a strong structure, and instructors are getting used to this routine, are, you know, they're improving on this scale. There are a lot of things, honestly. Those are the main things I can think of. Mainly lesson planning, observing classrooms, and evaluating teachers. You know, those were the main things I really wanted to implement within the Quran and Arabic instructors, and also the Islamic studies teachers. They were doing that as well. So this is something I'm really proud of. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Yes, Mariam, do you want to say something?
Overall, I think you guys covered everything, but seeing from the children's point of view, I see that what teachers were teaching them in the classroom, the students were learning, and that makes me really proud. What we wanted to do, it's being achieved. We go, we meet people, we hear like positive comments about our school. That makes us proud. So overall, it has been a good year, and we are hoping that it will be better, inshallah, this year too. There's always room for improvement.
Yes, I agree.
Sure. Anila.
I think we did a good job last year and hope we did the same this year.
Inshallah. Better, even better, inshallah. Fatma, you are muted.
I'm having a hard time unmuting myself.
So the biggest challenge
All right.
at
I'm
this
back.
time is keeping you.
Yes, probably I'm just gonna keep it. What are the biggest challenge? So before we started, we started with positive, right? What we're proud of. And what are the biggest challenges that you think are still left? Don't list so many. Just try to kind of bring it to one or two challenges that you think are the top ones, that you think the schools that you still, either you personally or the school still needs for next year.
Well, my challenge is that the class sizes are small and there are more people who want to get enrolled.
Mm. Yeah. So you have a cap though? You have a cap?
Yes, we have a cap.
Yeah.
We increased the cap this year though.
Okay. So anything else when it comes to challenges?
Can I share mine?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so there were many challenges, but like what I want to improve like this year was we have a structured lesson. I'm gonna speak from the lesson plan point of view. We have a template for the lesson plan. I feel like teachers do not like fill in the lesson plans properly. They do not include the details. It's very like from the top that we're gonna do this page, but I as a advisor, or whenever I want to see, I want to get the whole idea what was done in the lesson plans, and our advisors they keep telling them, but I don't know, somehow I want them to share more, and they might be doing more in the classroom, but I cannot go into the classroom and watch them all the time. I want to get an idea from that lesson plan. So I really want to improve that this year, that it should be very detail oriented.
Yeah, I agree, Mariam. One thing is having the solid, well-detailed lessons. Some teachers, they do that. They mention the details. They mention everything. They even explain really well the activities that are planning to conduct in the class. But others, it's very, very superficial. So it's something that we have to work on here. Other thing is starting on time, starting the school day on time, starting the class on time, and ending the class on time. The salat, going to salat and monitoring students during salat time is something that I want to see improving. What else? And
I think we just need to say the biggest challenge.
yeah, okay,
Not
I'm gonna
all.
like that. So two biggest challenges. So those are the two ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm hearing lesson plannings is that kind of one of the things is like really knowing the structure of the classroom of each teacher. So that helps. Any other things that are, and then when it comes to time, that's like more of a professional side of things where you have, as a professional or as a teacher, which she is a professional, needs to come in and then end up on time, start and end, which is something we have, I think, in every school, every masjid, in every, unfortunately. This is like the challenge of the ummah. This challenge of the ummah. So inshallah. So that's alhamdulillah, but it can always get improved. Like there are always things, alhamdulillah, that we can do to maybe, help in that matter and make it better. So that's another one. Another one, do you have any other one when it comes to school or a personal challenge for starting the next year? Anything, Sana and Anila, you can share?
So I'm new to Houston overall. Moved here about, I would say, less than a month ago. My background a little bit that I would like to mention is not in teaching per se, although I have a teaching experience for the last, I would say 5 years. I have taught about like 4 years in a public school as a substitute teacher from pre-K to 5th grade. And then I have taught in Islam weekend madrasa, maktab, you name it, however they highlight it, for a year and a half in Maryland. I have a bachelor's in economics, but I always have the passion of teaching. This is just something I always done on the side ever since I've gotten married. Alhamdulillah. Few things that I haven't had experience in this particular week in school yet, but overall that I see some biggest challenge in terms of not just, I believe the structure and organization of any institute is very important, and that plays a key role in putting everything together. In regards to that, I believe lesson plan, as Mariam mentioned, is a key, because lesson plan is like literally a roadmap for the teacher. The more detailed it is, it's very easy to navigate. So that plays a key role in terms of organization and structure, how you start your day, how you plan things out, whether it's teaching, your everyday life, planning, the day goes smoothly. So that's number one. Biggest challenge is, like, as you mentioned, is the entire ummah, right? We're all struggling with that. And as working as a team is also very important. As a staff members, if you all have that unity, you build that relationship. So that's another challenge a lot of the institutions that I have seen have faced, even public schools, Besides that, one thing that I do want to mention is that, alhamdulillah, most teachers are working hard, making their lesson plans, putting things together. But sometimes also the biggest challenge is communicating with the parents. You have a goal, you want to accomplish something, you are teaching, and next weekend, like let's say next Sunday, you taught this Sunday, whatever your lesson plan was, you achieved that. Next weekend, your children come, or maybe 2 or 3 or 5, they are way behind. You are communicating with the parents. Sometimes that's a challenge too, because you're putting in the effort, you're trying your best, but sometimes there should be also, we should also, like, I don't know, but there's also a way to somehow get parents involved too. It's not just, they just come and spend a time and then they leave. It's also, it's like, it's a teamwork, so that's another challenge that I have seen even in public schools. When I taught senior, like, students at the masjid, that was another thing too, communicating with the parents, how to bring the kids on track in terms of what you're teaching and what they're accomplishing, so that's what I have noticed.
Excellent, Sana. You weren't here, but this was our challenge, and it didn't come to my mind. But yes, this is our biggest challenge. We do communicate through emails and WhatsApp messages and Facebook and website, but still there are parents who come and say, where's the calendar? Where's the lesson plan? What in the class? You didn't tell us this. And I said, well, there are so many. No, we didn't receive any. So this is a big challenge.
Jazakallah khair. That's really good. I think you just pinpointed the stuff that we're actually going to discuss, and that's a perfect transition to the next one. So I'll just talk about this meeting on top of that. So you kind of mentioned a little bit some of these challenges is developing a mission plan for the school. So knowing our vision and mission and expectation, that's important when it comes to the structure as well. That's part of the mission of the school. And preparing for upcoming challenges. Since we know the challenges, we need to kind of find a way or think about a way to tackle those challenges. Even if you fail, we try a plan. Find a plan, because we know them, we know they're there. We can't ignore them. We can't just say, okay, well, people are coming late, let's just let it go. So we can also keep doing it the same way. Like if it didn't work last year, or if it worked even a little bit, maybe we can tweak it a little bit, try something new. And that's part of the growth. And fostering leadership, which is part of communication, whether it's, when I'm talking about fostering leadership, I'm talking not only you, but I'm talking about parents, students, and teachers. Like everyone should feel that they are the leader of their own learning, and that the more they're involved, the better everything will go. So that's part of the communication, and communicating that to everyone. Like, what are the parents who ask these things? What are the consequences of asking this? You're sometimes wasting the time of people who are working there, or they have other things they can do, but you're sitting there asking them to go back and give you the information again and again. So they don't. Some people don't know the consequences of their own doing. Like they keep doing things, they keep calling you every hour for things that don't make any sense. But at the same time, that has a consequence. Like it's not just, I could answer you, I don't mind, but you are taking some of the time that I could do something else. And during that time, I could have gone and prepared something for the school, for your students, for your children. So the time that I'm spending just doing that is valuable. And the fourth thing is keeping track of data. So the only way to know if we changed, if we stayed the same, is data. Like if we know that a teacher did better this year than we did last year, we need to be able to prove it with data somehow. Whether it's students' data or teachers' data, impact from last year's improvement. Let's say I walked in last year and this year I see you doing this. Wow, there's an improvement here. So there should be some kind of tracking way that we track that data and we know if we're doing good or we're not. Maybe we should change the plan again. So that's, for example, if we look at people coming late, let's just say every day, maybe if we implement something and we look at the data, let's see if teachers still come at 9, or is it an improvement? Maybe this time this coming at 8:58. We don't know that, and we consider still them late or something. We can say, okay, well, they're still late, but there is improvement. And that's the most important thing, because little improvement is better than nothing. So we just kind of, if we keep the data in mind, we will kind of see what improvements we can make throughout. So that's when I bring in growth of the students, it's also growth of our own behavior and our teachers' behavior and so on. That's one of the things that we tend to sometimes don't have time to do, but it's really important to know if things impact or do not impact the school. So that's the purpose. So a system puts your school on track. So you have to have a system. me, Sister Nair, Miss Maha, or Miss Sana, we're not going to stay in the same place forever. We can't guarantee a person is going to stay there. So everything should be built on a system, not on a person. A person could be a great principal, mashallah, Miss Nair is a great principal, but if Miss Nair is not there anymore, doesn't mean we crumble the school and it goes to the ground. We still want the school to still go on, right? And unfortunately, a lot of time we rely on people and we forget the system, but the system should not be changing and going away with the people. It should stay in place. So if the system is strong, it should stay in place. If it's not strong enough, that means you rely on people. Like if I leave a school and people are relying on me, and that school just doesn't work and is doing really bad, well, that must be a problem with also the system. And that's one of the difference between public school and also the schools is they have a system in place. No matter what, they still have a system in place. And they take a lot of time to establish that system. So when somebody comes to public school or leave, it doesn't destroy the school. They could even bring a new principal, it doesn't change the school as much. Because that school has a system in place. And that system is extremely strong and very hard to break. You could tweak it, like we had one time a principal who came in one of the school, actually in public school. He came in and he had all these ideas he wanted to change about the school. It was a small school, a dropout prevention school. And he came in with all this force and ideas of trying to change the system. No one accepted it. And it was a rejection and he failed. Because the system is stronger than him. That's one of the things that you have to understand in public school. People go to public school thinking they're going to make an influence. They have all this like energy. For example, for me, I'm going to go and I'm going to try to make this change. The change does not happen very easily. Why? Because they protect the system. They protect their rules. They protect the regulation. They protect how they built the school in the beginning. The vision and mission stays. So whatever you come in with ideas, you better fit in there. You better fit in the vision and mission. So what I did is I did a little bit of looking at the vision and mission. And I don't know, Ms. Nair, this is kind of a established one already. If you established it, so I don't have the history around the vision and mission, but I'm still going to go through it. So the first thing I saw is the surah. Okay. And then we had the vision. Masjid al-Salam's Weekend Islamic School aspires to develop confident American Muslims. And we have the mission, as you see here. Curriculum focuses on mentoring our children into ideal Muslim and Muslimah. It is important for our children to have a genuine understanding of our deen and its practical application in life. So looking at this, did you know about the vision and mission? And do you think it reflects what you do now, or you think it needs some changes, if it's allowed? So do you think it needs some changes, or you think it reflects what the weekend school does now? Or maybe it is broad, you want to make it more specific?
I think it's broad. I made it. It was me who wrote this mission and vision. But yes, it is broad. Now I realize after, when you ask me if it's broad or specific, no, it is broad. It needs to be specific. Yes.
You think it needs a bit, so it needs a bit of kind of, so if somebody comes new, like Sana, and she comes new and she sees a vision, do you understand what is really the vision? Because developing a confident American Muslim, that's the vision of everybody, right? Of everywhere. I hope you do that. It's like, but how do you do it is kind of what is your vision of how you want to do it? Like, do you want to do it in a way that you want to create leaders? Do you want to do it in a way that is, you want to develop like more, what kind of characteristics you really want to focus on? And that's kind of your vision, is you have specific characteristic. And that makes you specific. Like if there is another weekend Islamic school that opens up, let's just say next door, then, well, no, I'm going to go to this school because they have this vision. And I fit with this vision. I don't fit with the other one, which has a different vision. So every parent fits with a specific vision mission. And I know they know it, because by now people who have been with you last year, I'm sure the parents know your vision and mission. They can feel it, they know it. And it's been word to mouth. But maybe if you put it also for new people, that'd be nice to know. Or for teachers who come new, like you tell them this is our vision, like we're not going to change that. So that could be something we can have ideas and gather up some ideas around it. So what do you think? What do you think is a vision and the real vision and mission of the school?
I think the vision needs to refer to something related to education.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I mean, personally, I would want to see something referring to education in the school vision.
So some kind of, yes, so an education, like educating the American.
Yes, something related to an educational goal.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of what the surah does. The surah, and I go back to the surah, I'll actually do that so we can. Yeah, Surah Al-Alaq. So Surah Al-Alaq, the themes, so I like the Surah Al-Alaq that you put actually before here, because the Surah Al-Alaq gives me the actual, the 5 verses, the first 5 verses that were revealed, gives you a vision and a mission. It does do that. And if you inspire from it, the themes of Surah Al-Alaq is what? Well, there are 2 big themes in Surah Al-Alaq. Read, I think that's some kind of learning. So there is a learning or growth of learning of education. So you need to learn and somehow. And there's another one also before reading. Before he asked Prophet Muhammad to read, and he told him 4 times, there was something he wanted him to have.
Like being up and
he wanted him to have faith. There's some faith, some belief that you really want to have. You've been faithful to believe that you can do it. Because Prophet Muhammad does not read, but he still asked him to read. So even if he does not read, he was asked to read because he wanted him to have faith in learning.
Faith. In the name of your Lord, yes.
Yes. So you want to have faith and learn. So number 1 is faith, and number 2 is learning. So that's why when we go back here, we need to kind of put some kind in our themes, and we do have that theme is not only we are faithful as American Muslims, but and if we're not American, well, it's like 2 faiths here. But we have to be faithful kind of first, and then we can learn, and that's where the learning part, the education part comes in. And that would be a nice way to tweak this. Is I think as leaders, is to bring in, like you're right, Mahab, bring in that learning part and what kind of learning to, what kind of vision of learning we want. Like we are talking about the whole child, or we just want them to learn about their faith. And at the same time,
it's a whole child.
But we still don't do academics. So we can't really involve academics. So somehow we have to make sure that we are only focusing on their faith also, because our focus is a lot of time in their faith, and even the Arabic itself, and we'll talk about that later. What does the Arabic do in this? Like, what is the goal of the Arabic here in that whole vision? And that's kind of what are we focusing on the child, and what we want him to know or her to know as we go on. The mission itself, so it says our curriculum focus on mentoring our children into ideal Muslim and Muslimah. So
like tarbiyah,
yes. So we focus on, again, still education parts, but tarbiyah of the child as a whole. So we are mentoring, and this is, I like this. The curriculum, it's not really the curriculum only, I would say the whole system.
Yeah.
So the whole system really, because you have after school club, and you have things that are not involved in the curriculum or included in the curriculum, but they are still being having a big impact on the child, like on the child. So not only is understanding of our deen, but it's really, you are really bringing our deen as part of the big mission here, but everything else develop that deen, including those activities at the end.
Right.
So that's kind of something I wanted to mention, and we can work on having a day. Maybe we can look at the vision and mission and rewriting it together. It takes some time to kind of sit down and just rewrite it together and find the best word that we can. One time we did the vision and mission with the guidance college. It was like 2 hours just together to come up with the writing. It took a long time because we wanted to put the right words, and we wanted people who already were in the establishment to tell us what they think our vision and mission is. So that was kind of my idea here. So on top of this, so the vision and mission should reflect the expectation of the students. So if I'm a student in WIS and I'm there Weekend Islamic School, what is expected of me? What do you want me to do? And the same thing applies, because I didn't put that, and actually I like that idea of parents too. If as a parent or as a student, I do not know my expectation in the school, or teacher even, how can I abide to that expectation?
So can we all add this?
I'm sorry?
So we're gonna add, like, can we say what are expected of our students?
Yes. So that's what we're going to work on. So we want to work on the expectation, because I tried to find like a place where I can find my expectation as parents.
Okay,
and
so
my expectation as students.
For starters, be punctual.
With the punctuality, that's yes. So I'm going to take some notes actually on the slides. There you go. Okay. I'll just take some notes here, but I could take it. So punctuality is one, because that's number one. And this punctuality applies to who?
I say
for that.
Students, from our teachers, from our instructors, everybody.
Yes, but as a student in first grade responsible for punctuality, is it their fault if they come late?
It's the parents.
It's the parents' fault. So punctuality, when does it start? What age do you think the child could be responsible for being late?
When they are driving themselves in coming to school.
When they have their own car and they're driving, right?
No, you know what? No, that's not true.
That's not true.
I'll speak for myself. My daughter, I'll tell you actually. I'm gonna add one thing here. So my one daughter, she's gonna start second grade. So last year, first grader makes her 6 years old. I don't know. There's this thing in public school. They don't want to get taught. I don't know. It's an embarrassment. I don't know. Both my girls, they would start crying if they're even late from 2 minutes. I don't know what they do. From outside as a parent, I don't think so. They're too strict, but somehow they are very embarrassed to be late into their public school. But that's not the case, obviously, in our school. So I do not believe the punctuality starts with an age. If they know that this is what is expected from them, they really do take care of that, even if they're small.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, you're right. And I like that, because a student, we always blame the parents or blame the students. Sometimes we do both. But at the same time, there is this pressure. The students can give pressure to the parents to actually come early. And they can do the opposite.
Yeah.
They can slow down their legs, especially when they're older, at 10 years old and 11. You can't drag them. Like, you can't pick them up and put them in the car. So they really drag themselves out for 15, 20 minutes, because they don't care. They don't care about coming early.
So I don't know. You have an experience with the public school. What do they do if they're late? I mean, I don't know. Why do they make such a big deal? I mean, my daughters, they did not like me dropping them late or anything.
I think the most thing in public school is peer pressure. It's peer pressure, because you're the only one who comes late. I think it's because everybody comes so early. Even as teachers, you feel that peer pressure. And because everybody comes on time, and they come even before on time, and no one comes late. So you're going to be the only one coming to that school late, going to the classroom late, and you don't want that. And that gives you a lot of attention, and the child does not want that bad attention. No one wants to be the only one walking in the hallway when everybody's in the classroom.
They just don't want to be the center of attention.
They especially that attention, a lot of them don't want to. So they really try to peer pressure. They don't want to be late. And even as teachers, you have teachers that would come to an Islamic school late, but they go to public school on time. And I've seen that with my own eyes.
That's so true.
I've seen that, subhanAllah. I've seen teachers, actually the same teacher who substitute in a school, and I see them there on time, but when I see them in Islamic school, they were always late. And subhanAllah, this is the same person. This is the same person. So were you able to make it there? There is something about that place that makes you like that pressure that I shouldn't be coming late. And the expectation for the students is to come on time. They actually do, in high school, they do have difficulty with late tardies. I'm not gonna lie, like, when it gets to high school, there's a lot of tardy problem, because a lot of them drive And there are a lot of tardies actually, and they always struggle with the tardy problem, because when I was in school, that was an issue. And that's an issue but they are very strict about it. Like there are warnings in high school, for example, if you're tardy more than 3 times, then it counts as an absence. And when it counts as an absence, you are going not to be able to do the final, like it gets exempted from the final. So you get all these consequences that the child gets, and they are very strict about that. When it comes to teachers, sometimes they don't just leave your classroom. They don't even replace you. Sometimes we're trying to be nice and replace the teachers and do all of that. They really make it difficult and say, well, if you're not there on time at 8 o'clock, there is no one in there, and no one will just come there for you. So anything that happens in that classroom will be your fault, and you could be sued about it. So there are actually legal consequences here, because if I come to the class at actually 5 minutes late, I don't know what could happen during that 5 minutes that could put me as a teacher in trouble. So there are like really difficult, hard consequences for adults. And when it comes to little children, they do add that fun, and they don't want that shame also. So there is like, they do stuff 15 minutes before the classroom. So they know, and their teachers are never late, especially elementary. They are always there early. Always. Like it's really 30 minutes earlier. And their classroom is always ready. So when the students go in that classroom, they never see a teacher stumbling because they just came. It looks really bad. So they actually expect that teacher to be there, and that teacher is always there, so the students cannot be late. Like everyone is early on time, and I'm the only one. It doesn't make sense. So that's the thing. And they start saying, well, we missed out on this, like 15 minutes before the classroom, we had all this fun, and you weren't here, you didn't make it. So they had all this fun. Sometimes they even miss out on food, actually. They bring out food at 7:45, they have donuts, and you missed the donuts, sorry, there's no more donuts for you. And all these kids start talking about all the fun that they have at the beginning that you miss out on, that you start missing out. And that's also an issue. So you have all these techniques that they use, and we can implement like one by one and see which one works with our system and with our students and teachers. Try to find that. But that's one expectation that's really important, is punctuality, and giving it to the parents as well. But the best way to do this is through, like you said, students, because once your child starts crying to come early, you better move and take them on time. that kind of the pressure. So that's one of them. And also filling out that, and I think punctuality starts with teachers. It does. It really does start with teachers before students. So we can't pressure the students or the parents if teachers are late. Unfortunately, that's how it is. It's just, that's how it's going to work. So we're going to have to start with teachers. So for me, I think punctuality just really starts with teachers. Then we can move on to parents and students and staff. So that's another expectation that I want the students and parents to have.
Regularity.
Sorry?
Regularity. Being
Like,
regular.
Which means being regular, I mean absences or?
No absences. When school is open on, you should be there. No matter
Okay,
if
attendance. Can attendance?
the schools are off, you need to be here.
Okay. So like attendance.
Attendance.
So is that an issue in the school? The people like
Yes,
a lot?
it's an issue because first of all, Klein ISD is giving so many breaks, like I think every last Sunday of the month is off or something like that. So it becomes a long weekend. So people plan trips for the long weekend, events for the long weekend. And whenever such event comes, we have a very low number of attendance. So this is a challenge also. This is an issue. So no matter how I structure my calendar, these long weekends come and I just can't deal with it. It's very difficult.
you mess up the whole curriculum, because now you have to go backward because half of the class was not there. So you can't keep on going. You really mess up. Yeah, that's true.
That's a big challenge. Every month, one Sunday is off. So it's very difficult.
Yes. So like attendance would be one. So as a parent, do I know what the consequences of not attending the class? That's the thing. As a parent, as a student also, do I know the consequences of not attending the class?
We do say 3 unexcused absence will expel you out of the school, and you have to re-register if you want to continue. But they call and they give us excuses like, oh, he's sick, somebody died in the family. You know, they give excuses. Though I know they are out doing fun, but they come up with excuses, and you say, okay, you cannot do anything.
Mm.
So we cannot say you're lying. Whatever they say, we have to believe that, though we know that it's not the case. But this is what happens. It's really a big challenge now. Don't know what to do.
It does. It would affect everybody too, like the teachers and the students,
Yes.
even the students who are attending on all the time, because they're not okay. So attendance would be also another expectation for the students and parents to bring their kids also.
Sister Nair, I have a question in this regard. Did you see any improvement if you compare last year to the years before?
Yeah. It's a big improvement.
Okay, because last year during, I don't remember which break, I went into one of the classrooms, and I'm gonna say it was full. So this doesn't happen to all grade levels, but it is happening.
It is happening.
It is happening, but it's not, I feel like, last year when I was, walking around classrooms, not all the grade levels, they were empty. Like I went into one of the classrooms and it was full, completely full.
Alhamdulillah, it is getting better, but especially on those days when like it's Thanksgiving break season or the Halloween season. So no matter which Sunday we choose, like before the event or after the event, the attendance suffers a lot. So, but every month, the long weekend, that is getting better. Alhamdulillah. Because now I think the teachers are working hard to make the class engaging. We are giving them plenty of time to play also, to interact also with each other. So kids want to come now.
I'm sorry, Ms. Nair. I'm going to add one thing. I think it starts with the parents. If you start taking the Sunday school serious, then you won't let the child miss the school, or you're not going to plan anything on a Sunday, right? But people think that it's like a fun school. It's like it's not like a regular school, right? So it starts with, I think, with the parents. Why are you scheduling anything on a Sunday when you know that your child has to attend it, right? It is important. So, if they understand this is as important as a regular school, they will not miss out on it, even though if it's a long weekend.
Actually, if a parent knows that the child is learning something, he's benefiting in the school, they will not plan. So alhamdulillah, that is the reason why it is getting better by the time. That now parents know that, yes, if my child is going to Sunday school, they are learning a lot. And if they are missing one Sunday, they will miss on it a lot. So alhamdulillah, we are getting improvement in this area. Alhamdulillah.
Can I add one thing?
Sure.
Yes, last year I remember 2 incidents that it's with one is with grade 1 and I don't remember the other grade. A parent called me in the morning. They said, we have a birthday party. And my daughter said, I don't want to miss Sunday school. I want to miss this birthday party.
Oh my goodness.
And the parent called me. He said, can we drop her at 11 o'clock? Then I said, okay. So his daughter came at 11 o'clock because she don't want to miss Sunday school. And the other incident is that the parent came a little late. they said we came from vacation last night. We came home so late, but when my daughter wake up, she started crying. She said, I want to go to Sunday school. So I think we are improving a lot.
I agree with
We-
you, Sister
uh,
Anita.
Also, this start of freshman class is because the students requested another grade.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
And actually, I think also you're sometimes the child, you have to get them what they want. Like some they want to go because of social, some because they want to go because of the teacher, some they want to go because of the club. They have a club probably after they don't want to miss. So everyone is what they want. Like girls, a lot of time they want to go because they have a social life there, and they don't want to miss their friends and not see them for another
Right.
week. So you
I
have to really
I
get
think it's
to.
on teacher as well, how they can engage the students and how they can make activities for them. So it's fun and learning both for them.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I just wanted to add a little bit to that as well. Sister Anila mentioned some great points there, and in my personal experience, I have 4 kids of my own, alhamdulillah, and each one of my child is totally different. I don't know how, but this is alhamdulillah, it's a gift from Allah, right? Each one of them have different personalities completely. So I honestly believe it's that, especially most of the kids who go to public schools and they come to Sunday school, parents' intention mostly is to get them engaged and have them get the more exposure possible in the Islamic and the learning environment. So kids these like this generation more than before, I would say they don't like just to sit and hear, or just have the teacher talk and read off the book, or just read a chapter per se. They like engagement, as Sister Anila mentioned, and Sister Maryam, and all of the, other who have been talking about this, alhamdulillah, which I totally agree. Engagement and activities play a vital role to grasp their attention, their interest of coming to, Sunday school. They like interactive activities, and they honestly, the research even in public schools have shown that a teacher would teach, whenever I would go as a substitute teacher, I would have the lesson plan ready. I'm literally following, and the lesson plans are mostly amazing. I am not a certified teacher, so I don't even know how to, teach a 6th grader. But because of the lesson plan, it's easy to tackle. But besides that, the activities that's connected with the lesson plan plays a wider role in terms of them understanding and implementing what they have learned. So the other day I was talking to Sister Maryam about it too, that down the line, all of the staff members can work in terms of the lesson planning. Sister Fatima, I'm sure you know about the centers that we call the centers in public schools. It's activities, right? They have 5 minutes on the first center, then move on to the next center and move on. And it's amazing. It's amazing even for teachers to learn out of it. They show excitement. They're enthusiastic about learning. So I believe activities is number one priority. Besides that, reading off of the book, everything connects with those activities. So if you have good activities and plan in the lesson plan, it attracts students to be more active, and they are eager to come, besides that. And then that's how they build those connections and bonding, just not being a self-learner, they're connecting with other peers as well.
Yes. No, that's really good. And I think that's why engagement and activities is who is responsible for that. I think we are, right? We are all responsible for that. And that's our part. Now, we do expect from students to be punctual. We expect them to attend. We expect them to be there, but that's pretty much it, right? Expectation is, yes, there are rules and regulations, but I'm talking about it as a school. I'm not talking about inside the classroom, the expectation of the teacher toward the students. I'm talking as a school, what are you expecting to the students? And these are the big expectations. Please be on time and be in your class. So come prepared, come ready. Like they say, come prepared, come ready. That's it. That's all I'm expecting from you. The rest, that's our job. And then you have the expectation of each classroom. The teacher set their expectation in the classroom. And that's a bit different. It's not really the expectation of a school. So, and that's why I like these big points of, as long as you come every time and be ready. That's your expectation. That's all I'm asking you to do. I am not asking you anything else. It's very simple. As a school, like as a principal, this is what I'm asking you. And to parents as well. Like, what are we expecting from parents? And if it's only punctuality at attendance, that's good. But are we also expecting them to follow up? Or are we expecting them to do things outside of when they bring them? And that's another expectation that should be set in the beginning. When I come to this school, am I involved? Should I keep up with that child? What should I do as a parent? And that's something that's not given to every parent. Some parents, they have different personalities. Every parent is different. They're like children. Also, every child is different. Every parent is different. And every parent's style are different. Some of them do not want to get involved in their children's work unless they have to. Some of them do want to get involved for every little thing. They want to know everything that's happening in that school. So you have different parents, different styles. So you can't expect them, like from our mind, from my style, to do the same thing as I will do as a parent. So that's one of the things to actually set, based on their personality, set what you want the parent to do from the beginning.
Fatima, I want to share something with you.
Mm-hmm.
I have noticed that, I mean, we talked about it during professional development, that previous ones that we had last year. Instructors, they share with the teacher, with the parents, their expectations at the beginning of the school year. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of instructors sharing things that they would want parents to be, involved with, and that's something that I liked. They just make it simple and clear and in a nice way, that they want parents to be involved, that they want parents to ask questions, that they want parents to, look into your child's folder, check your homework, check the homework assignment. If you need help, get in touch with us. So I like that. A lot of most of our instructors, they're doing that. They are sending messages at the beginning of the school year in the WhatsApp group, where they explain their expectations from parents, and that's something that I appreciate in our teachers, and they're improving in this matter. So that's something that is being tackled. So yeah, it is a good thing, but it's, of course, we always need to, as a school system, we need to strengthen that. So the instructors are doing their part, but as an administration, as a school, we need to explain this, make it clear and visible to parents, so they adhere to it.
Yes, that's what I was gonna get to. Like I've seen teachers do that, and they do have communication. They try to communicate with parents, and I've seen that that's true. But I haven't seen, like in the beginning, before you even meet the teacher, you meet the school, and that's one of the things that when you meet the school, the people that you meet in the beginning, they're the one who should be telling you what, as parents, is expected from me as parent. So that expectation is easier for the teacher to actually do that and communicate with it, because not all teachers are good communicators with parents. Not all of them are going to push parents to actually do these things for them. So that helps the other teachers who are not able to do that, and helps them develop. This is the system of the school, expectation from the school, not from you as a teacher, from your classroom. This is a school thing. The homework is a school thing. Everybody's doing it. So you don't expect that, automatically the teacher to do that work. It just helps a little bit. So that's kind of one expectation also as parents, is to get involved into their child's education, because you can convince them. It's the only one Sunday. It's not enough time to actually create miracles here. We need help. We only have a little bit of amount of time, and the best way is a little bit of help. And this is what you can do. These are the expectations for you as a parent. So that's one of the purpose of orientation. And that's what they do orientation in other schools, is orientation is done just to talk to the parents and tell them their expectation. That's it. When you go to an orientation for your child, like I have orientation for my child coming up, all they talk about and all they give you is expectations. Sometimes it's written, it's presented. This is before we meet the teacher. When we meet the teacher, then the teacher shares their expectation. Because frankly, some teachers have more expectation from the parents than others. Some teachers like more involvement from parents than others. And that's normal. It's not a bad thing. Every teacher has their own style, and we can be proud of that, of having its own style. But at the same time, there is some school expectation. That's something we can share for the parents later on. So I'll try to move on. So that brings us to our goals and targets. So what I want to do next is to actually pinpoint exactly, after we talked about all of this, about specific things we want to work on. So we can't work on everything and change everything. We're going to have to just start with something, and that can be changed throughout the year. But at least right now in the beginning, have some specific items we really want to focus on. We have to think about it as also not only as a school, only in the system, but also the system within the curriculum itself. Like in Arabic, what's our big goal? And that's something I'm thinking of doing when we get to teachers together. So that would be like a PLC between the teachers. But as an admin, you also want to have the target goal, so you want to guide them to it. You still want them to be involved though. So that's one of the things we want to come up. So what do we want to really accomplish this year? What is our main focus to actually do? And I repeated this one again. And what are we looking forward for this year? So we want to look forward for something, and we want to plan what is, so based on this, what do you want to work on? What do you think is the most important thing?
I mean, everything is important. All what we have discussed so far is important.
Yes.
I don't
We're gonna
know.
have to start with, at least I'm thinking 1 or 2 would be the maximum we can. It's very hard to, but what do you think would make the most influence? And we're going to give that for this plan. There is a plan that the teachers is not really involved. So for example, let's just say we worked on punctuality. If you work on punctuality, we have to look at it, how the teacher is involved, how the student is involved, how the parent is involved, and how we're going to make sure that all these stakeholders are involved in punctuality. So even though it seems as a simple thing, it does involve a lot of parts. Like making the classroom engaging is part of punctuality at the beginning of engagement, because the engagement in the middle doesn't really help in punctuality, but the beginning of a class helps.
I want to focus on assembly, morning assembly.
Yes, like morning assembly, like how is that important? Or after morning assembly, like is there an expectation of morning assembly and the teacher's classroom if a person is late? So that's kind of like the plan that you'll have to do if you pick punctuality as one. So we want to pick 2. I want to pick 2 big ones. Get together and just decide on 2 you think will have the most impact in the classroom.
One more thing which I just want to communicate to all parents: provide their children with healthy breakfast and early sleep the day before. This is why I really focused last year also. Before that also, I want to stress parents that it is really important for them to, if they want to benefit from Sunday school, they want to focus on their sleep and their healthy, nutritious breakfast in the morning. These 2 things are very important.
Like be ready. All of the be ready. So we can have like we can have our motto for this year: be ready, be here. That's the kind of be ready and be here.
Be ready and be here, right? Be ready and be here. So
that could be something we want to really focus on. It could be a big goal, like be ready and be here.
Be ready and be here.
And be ready would be part of it, would be punctuality, attendance, and getting ready the day before. So what is expectation from the parents, from the teachers, from everyone that is in the school to actually work on be ready and be here? That works?
Yeah, it's a good point.
All right. So be ready and be here. Anyone else has another?
Our motto: be ready, be here.
A new motto: be ready. So because we want to make sure that's something we really want to emphasize on, so we work on that And that applies to teachers too. Be ready and be here.
Be ready and be here.
Because as a
Because if
teacher,
your
you
mind
need,
is fresh, then only you can grasp all what we want to give them.
yes.
That
Like
is
if you
very
want a
important.
fixed lesson plan, that's part of be ready. Like you can, you're not ready if you just come in the next morning and you're scrambling to figure out what you're going to teach. You just, it could happen to you one day or two. That's normal. It's the teacher's life. We have to expect that there is some times of the year that we're not feeling good, that that's not our week. I mean, we've been scrambling with so many problems. So that Sunday, I wasn't prepared. I was completely out of it. Yes, but every Sunday, no. That's the thing. Is we'll accept a few days where your life took over, but that's pretty much the expectation. Like most of the time, 90% of the time, you are ready and you're here. And that's something. So we can do that. So anyone also that comes a new teacher, we can tell them that as new teachers, right? When you're a new teacher, well, today we are focusing on be ready and be here. And our goal is punctuality. We want to make sure you come on time. You want to make sure that you are ready for your classroom. And by the way, you could be ready for me, like giving me the right lesson plan and everything, but you're not ready for your classroom. You are physically here, but your mind is not. And that happened to us teachers a lot, especially when it comes to weekend school. Like when I go do a halaqa or something, a lot of times I really have to put my mind into that I am here. My mind is here, not only my body. And that's not easy to do. As women, it's not easy to do because we have so much in our minds.
Especially when your family is at home.
Yes,
Sunday.
and your family's at home and you have all these plans for the rest of the week. Like Monday's coming the next day and you haven't done what you're supposed to be doing on Saturday. So you have all these things, subhanAllah. It's really hard to kind of bring you back and say, well, you are here, like we here. My mind is here with you. And that has such a big impact on your teaching.
Yeah.
Very
definitely.
big impact on your teaching.
Definitely.
And that's one of the things that actually I feel jealous a lot of people do that are in this culture, in American culture. They really separate their life with their job. Like they come to the job as if the job is just a job, no matter how much problem they had before. And that's such a skill.
Yes.
It's a skill because they come in, no matter what happens, I'm still coming and teaching the way I teach, and it doesn't even show on my emotions. So, and we have a hard time doing that, and I'll admit it, because we kind of bring in our emotions into things, and it's something that is sometimes good, because that's why we bring our heart to the students, like we love them, and sometimes it affects us when it comes to our work. It's not all bad thing. I don't want them to be robots and coming in. I still want them to bring their hearts. At the same time, this job needs our heart. Like this Muslim, when we talk about Islam and tarbiyah of Muslim, that's, you need the love, lots of real love, not the fake love, real love, our real love, right? So subhanAllah, that's the difference.
Intentions, pure intentions for Allah
Yes,
subhanahu wa ta'ala.
that's right.
Yeah.
So there is that balance, is a hard balance, because you bring in that pure attention and you are trying to also bring yourself to the job. So be ready is a good thing. So that that's going to be our saying now, Ms. Nair.
Oh, Fatima, how many points do you want us to have
for the improvement?
Yes.
So you mean within be ready, or do you want to add another one?
I'm asking not within to be ready, but do you need other ones apart from
we want to
being
do, yeah, we can handle 1 or 2 maximum.
Okay, I got it. Mm-hmm.
Because it's really hard to focus on more than 2 things if you want to talk about improvements.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we, even within be ready, is kind of still general.
It is very general.
Yeah, so it's still,
yeah,
even
broad.
that be ready can still
Specific.
be, yes,
We need
it can still be a little bit more specific.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yes. So,
and one other point that, I mean, as an advisor, yes, I know that I am more focused on what happens inside the classroom, but I observe a lot things that happens outside of the classroom. So one of the things that bothers me during school time is salat time. It needs to be organized in a better way.
it needs teachers' involvement and staff member involvement, because during that time, it's not only us as staff members, it's also, you know, outsiders, people from the community who come and visit the school at that time and use the musalla during that time. So I feel like during that specific moment, there are a lot of messages that are being portrayed about our school, that are being conveyed about our school to the community. So I really, really want us to be more strict, disciplined, of course, with everything with love during that time. I am very thankful to all the things that our instructors are doing when it comes to, you know, improving themselves with, you know, lesson planning, activities. Instructors, they've done a lot, honestly, this year. They improved themselves a lot in so many areas, but this specific point is still lacking improvement. And I'm not sure if you you know, agree with me, but it is very important. And pretty much I attend salat every time from 1:55 or 1:50 until 2:20 p.m. I am there in the musalla, trying to work hard as much as I can to organize, to keep an eye on the kids, to you know, keep that hallway nice and clean and organized. But it's a challenge, and I really want this year to be better, to look better, to feel better. Because as a Muslim, if I want to pray in the musalla, I just want to pray in a nice environment. I do appreciate the fact that school kids, they come and use the musalla. I really like kids being around me. It makes me feel happy. I'm a mother. I really love to see my kids praying next to me and other kids praying next to me. It's beautiful. But at the same time, we just want to see some discipline and organization and cleanliness.
And inshallah, Maha,
And yes, and I would like to see our instructors be involved in this
Yeah,
part more.
that was a part of their job description, to pray salah with their class and
Yes,
keep
in the
them
past
organized.
10 years.
I think we need more enforcement on it.
An expectation then. It's an expectation as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
in the
So
past
for-
10 years.
yeah.
Let me
So
add just this
inshallah,
point.
this is on me to enforce it and communicate it again to all the staff that your class is your responsibility. You need to take them in an organized fashion for the wuzu and for the salah, and then for dismissal to the multipurpose hall.
Yeah, so I just want to bring this point. When I
Yes.
was working as a teacher in the Islamic school, I told my students, listen, if you don't behave in the musalla, they're gonna say, oh, you know what? Miss Maha's student, they were bad during salat. And I'm telling them, I feel offended when I hear comments like that. I really don't want you to behave in this way. I just want to hear positive comments. I feel that those kids are my students, and when they go to the musalla, they have to portray the best behavior, the best salat manners. So you know, the school made it clear to us, your students are your responsibility from the beginning till the end of salat. So I don't leave my classroom without them being with me. I instruct the boys to use specific stairs to go straight to the musalla, and the girls, they go with me. So it is done in a way. It was not the perfect way, of course, but it was in a way to keep them with me all the time until salat is over. So it is something possible. It could be done, and yeah, and we trust you, Sister Nayer. You'll take care of it. And we'll support you. We'll support
So
you.
what age do they go to the musalla? Everybody goes, or what age?
No.
Everybody, last year, pre-K to grade 1, we dismissed them early, but this year they will be praying with us too.
Okay. So one of the things, do you prepare them before they go to the musalla in the classroom?
We
Well,
should be doing it. We take them for wudu, but we should be preparing them mentally also, like verbally telling them that we are going to pray and this and that. Yeah, you're
No,
right.
I mean, like modeling. Like, do you like, because one of the things that's that we expect students from the beginning, that they know how to pray. And
We need to do this workshop. We did not this year, but year before we did the workshop, but we need to do it again. Yeah.
yes, because
You're
a lot
right.
of times
Salah workshop.
we expect, like, we expect sometimes, like I had a lot of kids that don't pray.
Mhm.
Pray.
Yes.
And the parents don't pray. And that's true. And they don't want to admit it. Nobody's going to say that. So they pretend that they know when they come in. This is a student who wants to fit in with their peer. They don't want to be the ones, I don't pray. I don't even know how to pray. Because it's an expectation of a Muslim. And they know that. They know as a Muslim, we should pray. But if you ask students, some of them do not pray. And you'll be surprised that they don't pray at all. Like, it's not even, and then they come to the Sundays, that's the only time that they pray. Or that's the only time that they see a correct prayer. So that's something that we kind of probably would work on outside of the classroom itself. And then we come when the little ones should be trained and sometimes when we mix the little one and the big ones, we set expectations that the same. Like, we want a 6-year-old to act like a 14-year-old, 14-year-old acting like a 6-year-old. So
Right.
you have those mixed things. That's also hard. So I think that's a very good point, Mahal. I think we should be working on, like, be ready in Salah too. And to be ready in Salah, we need to go through a few steps before getting to the Salah itself. Because it makes it hard when you get to Salah. Is, subhanAllah, in Islam, Salah is the most structured part of our life and our development. Like, this is the place where all Muslims are on time, structured, and ready. There are no other places that they do that. No other place where they actually line up right and do not talk and do things like that. And people who come in and see us in Salah time as Muslim, they are amazed by how structured we are.
And can I add one more thing?
Yes.
Yes. And during Salah time, every teacher should stay with their class.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is very important. So kids can stay in one line. That all kindergarten stay together. Pre-K, all pre-K stay together.
I agree with you, Anila. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And
Because you can't be responsible for children who are so far away from
yeah.
their own.
And Fatma, when you said that, do they really know how to pray this thing? I just got an idea from this, that we will ask from pre-K to grade 2. They will not go to the gym, the musalla to pray, but at that time they will learn and model prayer for each other.
That's
So
what I would say.
this will happen they will not go to the
Yes,
musalla, inshallah.
So
They will do
going
that.
to musalla should be a privilege. It should be something you earned. You earned to go to the musalla.
Right.
Once you're ready, you earned it. So if you don't act good, you have to pray in the classroom. Because I'm sorry, that the classroom, that's because you can't be here. This is a privilege. This is something that you are earning. Because I'm good enough, I can do this. That's why I earned to come here. So it should not be something that you're forcing everybody to come.
Wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
it is. It
always
is wonderful.
assign somebody who stays in the classrooms and pray with people who have to stay in the classroom. Because
I agree with you. Yeah.
you need to earn to come to the musalla. There's an expectation of behavior. Like, for example, if you go to the library, there's an expectation to be quiet. If you can't be quiet, I'm sorry, you have to leave the library. That's
But
how it is.
Sister Fatma, like I noticed, like I was in the dismissal last year, I noticed few parents come early for grade 1. Few parents come early to pick their child and they want to take them to the musalla, right? But I think your idea is so good, but for students like for grade 2, they have to be in musalla. Because I noticed that first grade parents, they want their child to be with them in the musalla.
Yes, that is good. That is that's the difference. So now you have parents' involvement. So now if the parents are involved in the salah, then it's out of the hand of the teacher, and it's not our responsibility. That's the thing. If you're allowing parents to pick up, then that's a different part. But that's a good point.
Right.
And also, if we train them right in pre-K and 1, by the time they get to second grade, they should be ready.
They should be ready.
Some kids are not ready in second grade because they're new, we need to train them on their own. Train them and get specific classes for beginners of Salah.
I wanted to add something there. I absolutely love the idea of Sister Nair, is that even though some parents would like to pull their children and join them for Salah, if they are being told, the parents are being told that your children have been taught, they are in the learning process of how to actually pray step by step. I think, if not all, most parents would love the idea that, oh, really? You are teaching them one-on-one in the classroom how to pray, as compared to they're just standing in the musalla and just doing the sujood, sujood and ruku and,
Just
and
following the actions.
just
Right.
following the gestures. I think, again, everything comes back to the communication. I love Sister Maha's idea too, mashallah. She emphasized on that salah part, is that with my experience of teaching another weekend maktab at the masjid 6 years ago, which was, teachers should take the lead. I'm sure there are limited bathrooms, right, to make wudu. There should be time. We have we are time constrained. So there should be, each class should be assigned, okay, this is your time, go to the bathroom, make wudu. This is what we did. We didn't just immediately open up all the classrooms and now get ready for salah. We did it in a timely manner. Now it's okay if someone needs to make the wudu again, but you will still not see a bunch of crowd all at once. That's number one I would like to address. The second thing is, like in public schools, there's no concept of salah, of course, but I saw in the cafeteria, before the teacher take their kids, to the cafeteria, you have, even me as a substitute, I would read that in the lesson plan, that make sure you go over with the rules and regulations, how to behave in the cafeteria. So there was a number system, there was some color system, there was some tagging, or some stars. It depends of how, each schools, come up with the plan. And they have, like, if they have 4 weeks in a row of the great behavior in the cafeteria, it's a popsicle party. I'm not saying, how you saying you have to earn it. There has to be, we can come up with also a better plan in terms of how they can earn something by, implementing what we are asking them to do. At the same time, connect that to behavior, Islamic manner of how to be in the musalla, regardless if it's part of the curriculum or not, right? We are coming to the musalla. It's all part of teaching. So teachers should still take the lead. It's still part of the teaching time. They're still in it. Teachers should not think that they are done with their teaching right around the time of the salah. It's still part of that, teaching time. It's still part of teaching that I'm telling my students, we are going in the musalla, make sure there's no, distraction to other peers. Make sure we are all in the line. Otherwise, the consequence may be, in my opinion, love should always be there, but there should be some strictness in terms of, okay, you get 15 minutes of recess time, half hour, we'll cut down 15 minutes. The next 15 minutes, you'll be in the classroom, you will not have an outdoor time. There could be something. I'm not saying this is what we should implement, but they should know that how to follow. We are not in a zoo, right?
I agree with you.
It's over, get in the musalla. And,
Yes.
I have seen that hyperactivity in the musalla. They think, this is done.
I think that what I've seen is the core problem of all this is that teachers are not being part of in the musalla. Because I've seen teachers myself, they send their kids, then they're cleaning up their room. They're not with them. So Maha is there. Maha does not know this person is from this grade. All right. So she is saying, okay, be in the line, be organized, clean it. But if the teacher is there, she can implement the consequences. Like, if you are not behaving, then next time, I'm gonna take your recess time. Don't be too hard, but anything they can think of that. So I think you guys have trained with the teachers tomorrow. You can ask them to include this in their planning part. That if
definitely. We've talked about it, but I just want the administration to emphasize on this as well, because I feel like instructors, they don't know that they're being paid till the till the end of the school day. They
Maha, when they sign the
don't,
contract,
let me finish this. They don't understand that it is part of their job to be there until the end of Salat. Some instructors, they don't stay during the Musalla, they don't pray, you know, they don't pray, or they don't have to pray on that day, so they're not there. And they have to understand, even if you don't have to pray, you have to be in there with them. You make sure to clean up your room, do whatever you have to do to, you know, wrap up your class, and then be with your students, walk with them to the Musalla. I emphasize on this, I tell them this, I keep talking about this, but it should also be, you know, emphasized by Sister Nair, so they can understand it better.
so their job timings are from 9:30 to 2:15, 2:20. I was just seeing the contract yesterday. It's there, they sign it too, but
They
somehow
don't pay attention to it.
So here's the thing, is like I'll bring up 2 points, and I talk about 2 things that were brought up here. There's a system and expectation of teachers. There are 2 things here. The system is, even like you mentioned the cafeteria center. The cafeteria, all the teachers are not there. There is a lunch duty, people are there, some people are there, some people are not. But they're able, subhanAllah, to handle all these kids. Why? Because there is a system, and the kids got used to the system. And how did you help the system? By reminding. As a teacher, what did you do as a teacher? You just came in and reminded the expectation of the system, that the system was set up by the school. And then the teacher, their job at that time was to remind the system, and actually they left. That's how they work lunch. They don't stay there and be, okay, well, for every classroom, I make sure my student and I punish each one and so on. The thing is, we have to start with our parts. Then we can start blaming the teachers and saying, why aren't you there? But we shouldn't, the truth is, we shouldn't rely on teachers. That's how it is. Just because at that time, the teacher was there with their students for the whole class, at the end of the class. And I don't want to right now send the blame to the teachers. I want to do my part 100%. And then let's see what happens. Then I can start expecting the teacher to do something. But what as a system, my system should be very solid. My system, which is what? I should involve the teachers in defining a plan, expectation for Salah procedure, because all of them are going to be there. If they're not, there is still a Salah and procedure system. That system should be done with teachers in mind. They should also be involved in this. So inshallah, probably in the training, I will involve the teachers in creating a Salah plan. So the Salah plan should not be something administration gives to the teacher to do, and it should not be something that is asked the teacher to do by themselves. That should be a system done by the school with teachers' involvement. So what is your challenge as a teacher, and why at that time you don't come? Maybe I'm running away from my students. I'm too tired of them. I'm just hiding in my room. That could be the reason. But they're not saying that, but that could be the reason. I just can't, or I can't handle too many students in Musalla. It's too overwhelming for me. It hurts my heart. So I don't think a teacher who sees students going and lining up and being nicely is not going to go with their classroom. But a lot of time, unfortunately, it's the end of the day. And I think that makes a part of this whole thing. And sometimes the teacher would start going, and then in the middle of the year, everybody stops. You only have Maha there. So it's like you think.
No, there's me, there's there's other instructors.
Yes,
but not
those who come. There are some that are always going to come, subhanAllah, but you're going to have some giving up, you know. Like first Salah, you have everybody's there. Second Salah, one run away.
I honestly would like to invite Sister Nair, Maryam, and Anila to Salat. I really want to see them in the Musalla.
Actually, Mahat, that is a time when most of the parents come and want to talk to us. So
yes, that's why I was thinking you have.
Yeah, it's difficult for us to be Salah.
Yeah, just let them know. Tell them that the office will be closed during Salat time.
Yeah, this can be done. You're right.
Yeah. Because it is
should be done. Not can be, it should be done.
It should be done.
You're
Because
right.
you deserve to take a break and to go do Salat on time as well.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? We need to change I think we change it too, because during the Salah, I think dismissal is happening, Anila. What happens? Like
yes, dismissal. We were at the dismissal.
Yes. So and there were 2-3 entry points. So Anila was, managing the dismissal, then somebody was in the gym. So that's what we need to take care of that. Maybe we start dismissal from one point of, and we can talk about this later.
That's a good idea to announce that the office will remain closed during the Salah time from this to this. So
you either
everybody
in
should know
Salah
that.
or in training. Like there is no other places you can be at.
Yeah, either the training of the Salah or the Salah. Yes.
That could be good.
Yeah, it's going to be good, inshallah.
Okay. So that's after Salah. So the Salah is a very good one to actually get together and come up with a plan and the system as well. And that would be a specific goal in our Be Ready, Be Here, right? Be ready, be here for Salah. So that's kind of a specific one. And I like that one. The Salah is a very specific goal that we can achieve, inshallah. And if we work on the plan, how to do that, starting with the system and the administration, and then we can get to the teachers and the parents' expectation as well, and the students, what happens during Salah. And the thing is, and I'll emphasize that to teachers, that I think it's very important for teachers to understand, if things are not done, like I think Sister Sana was mentioned in that, is that it's a really reminder every Sunday. Like these expectations should be read to the students every Sunday before Salah. Like it's not even, you can't expect them to read it once in the beginning of the year and then say, all the students are going to follow Salah procedure now. It has to be written, and the teacher reads the expectation before the Salah every day, every Sunday. 5 minutes before Salah, you read it.
I want to add a point to this. In one of my trainings, especially the ones I do at the beginning of the year, I tell teachers to write down their expectations, their rules and regulations for their classrooms. And as a teacher, I would read those expectations and rules every month, at the beginning of every month, to the extent that my students, they would tell me, hey, Miss Maha, would you allow me to read the expectations and rules? They would remind me, wallahi, at the beginning of every new month, because we would say, hey, this is a new month, this Shahr al-Arabi, this and that. So I had students raising their hands and saying, Miss Maha, can I read the rules and expectations to the class? We forgot to do that. I'm like, yes, let's do it. فذكر إن الذكرى تنفع المؤمنين. Reminding students of our rules is always beneficial. And students, honestly, they take the lead sometime and they do it for me. So it's something that I encourage teachers to do, and I will remind them of doing it because it is helping.
Yeah. I mean, the Imam does that, right? Every time you start Salah, he keeps saying all the time. It's not one time he say, is the same thing again, and he reminds you of the specific
line up, this and that.
Yes. All this, like he does it every time, every Salah. So it's like we don't know. We've been praying all our life, and he keeps telling us Safu. So it's like, but subhanAllah, he keeps telling us because subhanAllah, that reminder is actually good. It is us that, okay, we should move, maybe we should line up right, and it's just subhanAllah, and we know these things, but we forget. It's that we are adults. Imagine kids. It's even, they need more even guidance than us. So subhanAllah, that's kind of I like that. So you have to remind them. Inshallah, we can work on that, and you can work on that Mahas, also the expectation of the beginning of the year. That could be a good plan to continue talking about, even during the training after. So for the sake of time, I'll move on a little bit. And so we talked about expectation of the system, which is Salah is a system, cafeteria food is a system, coming on time is a system, since those are things that are procedures during the day. But there are also procedures as a department. So as a department, they should define what the Arabic teachers are expected to do, what the Quran teachers are expected to do, and what an Islamic teacher is expected to do. So when I'm hired as an Islamic teacher, what group am I belong? Who is my group? And what are we expected to do as those teachers? Not only the curriculum, but I'm talking about even within the expectation of the classroom. Okay. So that's something that is, I know we do this in the beginning of the training system, but that is also something that we set out goals as Arabic teachers. And those things should be, even if a student change from class to class, they should be the same. What should be the same between this teacher? There's always going to be difference because my expectations as I'm the one next to me, like the teacher next to me. But at the same time, there should be some commonality. Let's say like and this is something actually I'll bring up, is when I'm teaching, for example, science, and there were a lot of teachers in science department. In the science department, there are things that we're doing different, but there are things that we do the same. If a student jump from my classroom to the other classroom, they should be feeling those same things should stay the same. And the administration would tell us what we want those things to stay the same. For example, these are non-negotiable. If in Arabic you are expected to read letters out loud, every teacher should read letters out loud. It shouldn't be different. And we can do that by subject. I know we don't have many of the same grade level, but we can still set expectations that are for the department only.
Sister Nair, I'm sorry, Fatima, to interrupt you. We have one class for each grade level, right? This year.
One
Yes.
class for each grade level?
Yes.
No, we do not.
Like, what do you mean, like, class for each grade level?
Like we don't have to. I've heard that I've heard you saying at the beginning that
We were planning to do it according to their knowledge, according to their ability to divide the classes, but we did not.
No, my question is because I've heard you saying we have a lot of students this year. We don't have two levels of grade 1 or two levels of grade 2 or two classes of kindergarten. It's just one class for each level.
One class per grade.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
So each person is basically their grade level teacher
Yes.
for the subject. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, these teachers will have to, across grades, set expectation of that fine expectation across grades, not within the same grades, and see based on the level of the students, we can look at what are the expectations we want every grade to have in that specific subject.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if in Islamic studies, what are the expectations? We want them to do projects. We want everybody to do projects. Kindergarten, like we had, remember when you had the Sahaba, that was an expectation for all of the subjects. So that's an expectation you set in the beginning, very specific.
Do you mean, Fatima, by expectation like learning objectives?
It's kind of learning objective, but I'm not going to go into the curriculum itself.
So this is just part of the instructor's expectation.
Yes, like
okay, now I get you.
Not about the curriculum yet, because the curriculum usually we align them. Like you already have a curriculum, and that's
yeah. I was about to say that, but if it's
how the curriculum is
it is like the theme, Maha. Like we had the Ashra Mubashra theme last year.
Yes.
This is what she's saying. So this time we have Asmaul Husna theme. So each grade will have one name.
It's kind of like that, but in a way where we talk about delivering the content.
Mm-hmm.
Like how are we delivering? Like, for example, when people do Qaida Nuraniya, that's an expectation of everybody, let's say, if they do Qaida Nuraniya. Or if
I see what you mean.
Quran, same thing. Like if you expect memorization of this, how are you adding the memorization? How are you doing the memorization? Are you having them read out loud? Are you having them? So that's what I mean. It's more of a system of how things are delivered, not the curriculum objective for themselves.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. So that's something that also should be discussed between teachers, and that's something that I'm expecting to bring the teacher together and create those things, because they have to have an involvement, and we have to put personalities together. Like if somebody is not comfortable with project, we still have to see who is comfortable with projects, and maybe that's how it works. And they can help each other.
Mm-hmm,
so talking about, and if somebody is not, because we know we all have our style of learning, especially with Quran, Islamic studies, or Arabic. Like you said, somebody likes the book, they like open page 6 and start with them, and some people are not like that, they like activities. So to convince the person who's doing the book that our expectation is not to open the book in page 6 every morning, then that's hard. So we have to have a system that helps them go back to the activities.
Well, Fatima, they know that they are expected not only to use the textbook, but to create activities. I made it clear for them since last year.
Yes. That's true.
Even if it's not their learning style, their teaching style, but I made it clear for them, we're not traditional teachers. We want you to be involved. We want to see your input in a classroom. So they will impress you.
Yes. No, alhamdulillah, that's good. I know that. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you can, that's very good. That's what I saw. And I know that you push for activities and hands-on.
Yes, they are working
hands-on,
hard on
mashallah.
this.
That's
and
part
every
of a
time-
vision. You should be, Naila should be part of a vision or mission. Like, we really, like, we're not the traditional ones. We want people to get
They're
involved.
very, they're innovative. They try to, they have a textbook. They have this textbook, but they are actually adapting the textbook to their students, to the class. They have the content and they try to create something new out of it. And that's what I really push them to do. I mean, yes, this is a concept that I want you to teach, but show me how you can teach it. Be innovative when you teach it. So we're working on that really hard. And then you have room to, introduce new techniques and new ideas for them to be more innovative.
Yes. I mean, it's really hard to do. It's not easy. It's not easy to change our old ways of doing things, especially when we were raised to sometimes, a lot of time we go back to how we were taught. And it's not easy for everybody to just
it was not easy, trust me. Yeah. But honestly,
you just push for it, to try as much as you can, you model for them, and you hope for that involvement. And it's a continuous process. It takes time.
Exactly. Yes.
And
they just need someone
results.
to show them, and then they're willing to work on that. Yes.
Because
they're
there are
very
results. Yes. If they see results and if they see that engaging student, they're going to continue doing it. They're going to continue. If they see that the other way was not really helping much the classroom, they're going to get convinced that this is a good way to do it. So that's another one we can work on. And that kind of one of the last points is monitoring our success. So what are ways that we monitor our success as a classroom?
No dropouts.
So, okay, let's talk about, so we mentioned, I think, punctuality and attendance. That's easy to monitor. So you are able to catch up the tardies and catch up the attendance. We can have those data. So that's something we can access, Nair, and we can make it probably a chart or something to see how we're working on with and I think you've seen the trend of when client SD has school. So those are things that are going to influence our attendance for sure. But at the same time, you can still have a trend of what's happening throughout the year. So we can monitor through tardies and also absences. Any other way you monitor your success?
Student performance.
Like if the students are not dropping, the attendance remains the same since the beginning till the end, it means that it is a success.
Yes, attendance and tardies. That's all part of monitoring. Any other ways by departments?
Students' performance overall.
So student performance. So that's something we want to talk. So how do we monitor student performance in the school?
So not just with the summative assessments, but also with the formative performances, our assessments per se, which is overall, like, not all the students are best test takers, right? We take midterms and finals in Islamic school, or maybe they have more examinations, written examinations where they're, answering multiple choice, writing a paragraph. What I mean by formative assessments is every class, I was mentioning it to Sister Mariam also the other day, is that there's something that I would like to introduce just as a suggestion, is the exit ticket. Exit ticket is something you are teaching for that day, your lesson. And exit ticket, you don't tell them it's an assessment, it's something, it's engaging. It's something that you evaluate. Was my teaching, not just them to assess that, did they really learn? Yourself, that was my teaching really successful today? Did I really accomplish what I did? So that's also part of school success. Every week, you see overall, is it trending up? Is it trending down? So formative assessment could be discussion, could be a form of exit ticket. An exit ticket could be anything. I come up with, print out sheets and I tell them, hey, give me your view on this question. What did you learn today? Or it could be any type of small activity as an exit ticket. It could be different forms of formative, or as a group discussion. I divide them into 3 groups and I will tell them, present yourself. I'll give you 5 minutes each. That's an exit ticket. Oh, was my teaching accomplished? Did I really meet my goals for the day? That's part of school success overall, that I am, improving in my teaching as well as students are improving in their learning. So that's something I thought of.
So exit tickets are also, they are a form of assessment too, that you can track and see the progress of students. Anything else?
We have end of year quizzes and competitions. They also show if they have learned throughout the year or not.
I just want to, add on the exit tickets thingy that Sister Sana was talking about. Yes, we do have exit tickets. Instructors, they have that. They have templates of exit tickets. We talked about it last year. Some of them are using it. They're trying to use it in their own way. I created templates for exit tickets for the Arabic class. They have that. We've talked about it and they like the idea. And each one of them is using it in a different way. The problem is, it's not, the problem is about time. I've seen that a lot of instructors, they still struggle with time management during their period. And it's very hard for them to wrap up class and be ready for Salat or be ready for the next class. They love it. We've worked on it last time on the previous workshop, me and my instructors. I've seen some of them using it, but because of the time constraint, it's hard sometimes to do that. But I've seen instructors giving those exit tickets as homework, part of their homework. Okay, can you go home and do this for me just to show me how you how you can implement this concept or this idea. So they're doing it, but again, it's them being ready and well organized when it comes to their lesson plan, because everything we suggest, they have to have time to implement it. It is very hard when you're limited in terms of time to introduce new things. But instructors, they know it. Both Islamic studies and Arabic language and Quran instructors, they know about exit tickets. They've been using it. It's just that we need to help them to use it and in the right time. Because again, as I said, mainly it's all about time. It's very, very hard to to add new things within the limited time.
Yeah.
I'll add one thing about exit tickets, and I'm just going to interrupt a little bit to just say that exit tickets are usually not there for data. For data, usually they don't use them for data.
Yes, I agree with you. It's not
they
for
are used
assessment.
for the
It's
teachers.
not. I don't even call them a formative assessment.
Yes, I mean,
I just want to.
For me.
Yeah,
for me,
it's my way to wrap up the class, to end the day.
I mean, no, it's also a good assessment. It's a good data for teachers. For me as a teacher,
it is for teachers just to see how
the
they
progress
have
of my classroom. Yes.
It's a way for me to wrap up the class, to end the day, and also to see how they can, just to show me how they can how they have processed my instruction.
So how that's going to help you for next time, though? It should help you for next time.
So I use like application time. So for example, when I finish, let's say the instruction, when I finish the lecture or whatever the activity I'm using to teach a concept, I give them time to practice, to digest, to understand, to interpret the concept. And then we have this application. During the application time, which is a formative assessment for me, that's when I see how they are able to use their learning, how they can demonstrate the learning. The exit ticket, it is a good indicator for me as a teacher, but at the same time, I use it a way to end the class, to wrap up the class, and to end it in a very constructive way.
So you actually relying on your application part where you
exactly
have
that's my philosophy.
The data.
But again, I let teachers to use it the way they want. If they want to see it as a formative assessment, yes, that's a good thing. But my problem again here is how they can use it and how they can implement it, especially that because of the time constraint. So I feel like I have to help them more in terms of organizing their lesson plan, so they can have this margin of time where they can, do the exit tickets. That's my main challenge. And I feel like that's also their challenge. It's having a well-organized and efficient lesson plan where they can implement those beautiful, nice things.
Yes. Yes.
I'm also looking for those timers, maybe the sign timers or the clock time, the twist
You know what?
timers.
I was about to send a message today to Miriam to ask her if she has those kitchen timers, if she can bring one to me for tomorrow's training. Since we're gonna have activities for instructors,
Okay,
I feel
I
like
don't
we
have
need to
the
be
kitchen
timed.
timer for the last year's training. I bought the digital timer. I will bring
Oh,
that
yes, yes.
tomorrow.
You know, hearing the
but those
ticking of the
kitchen
clock is
timers-
very important.
Yeah, but those kitchen
It
timers,
could be stressful too. It
It is
stresses me.
stressful, but at the same time, it works. It works.
it
You know
works.
what? I use it in my classrooms as well.
Mm.
Even with grown-ups, they love it. And I use the bell, the bell that we have when you go to store and you don't find the cashier, you have to ring the bell. I use
Yeah.
that to just bring their attention, and it works magically. I even had some students who would go and hit the bell. Miss Maha, it's done. I'm like, okay.
I'll continue in this, and I'll add one more question. Is do you have, so this is an all ending exam, do you have a pre-assessment to know where the students are at? How do you know the students is at what? At what level?
I mean, from what I know, we only have midterm exams and final exams. Instructors, I've tell them you can use any type of assessment that you would want. It doesn't have to be something big and scary. It could be, again, formative, simple, just to give you an idea on where your student stands. So I let this to the instructor. We tell them that we need a midterm exam and a final exam, but throughout the year, throughout the school year, they can come up with their own way of assessing students and have that continuality or continuous monitoring of their progress.
Yes. So one of the things that I would suggest is also to have the pre-assessment. And I'll tell you why. Because we have to know where the students are at. When we get a classroom, we can't monitor our success unless we know where we started. Like, for example, let's just say the first day everybody comes to school. I mean, we started at 100%. We had a 98% attendance, 100% attendance. Then it went down. That's normal because we know for beginning of the year, we had 100%. Now, if a teacher does a midterm exam, but at the beginning of the year, she didn't know where the students was at, where are they taking them?
Yeah, right.
How do you teach for the whole group, but you do not know how much progress a child did from the beginning to the end. And when I mean the beginning, I mean before you start teaching. I mean,
yes,
the beginning
I
of the term exam.
We're doing something like this, but it's not it doesn't have a title.
That for me is more important than an exit ticket.
Instructors at the beginning of the school year, they do some kind of evaluation to see where their student stands, and from there they can build up like a plan for their learning. They do that, but it's not in a very formal way. It's very informal. At the beginning, like I remember, I'm not sure who did that. I think it's grade 2 or grade 4. I think I've seen what's her name?
Nawara?
No,
Nawara?
the Arabic one.
Nawara.
No, not Nawara, 4th grade.
Ola,
yes. So I've seen her doing something very, I'm gonna say informal. She was asking them about the alphabet. She was asking them about connecting letters. And then I've seen her giving them something very simple, like a worksheet where can they demonstrate that. And I like that because she said, I just want to know where they are.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes. She just she said, I just want to know where they are. I'm like, yes, it's a good thing. So yes, our instructor, they're doing it, but in a very, it doesn't have a big title. Like, this is not something that they they're doing it in a very natural way without us asking them to do it, without even knowing if, you know, without knowing. They're doing it naturally. But yes, if you want to put it in a
I think
frame,
that would
it
be
would be great.
That
Yeah.
would be very good for the school for multiple reasons. Number one is to pay for parents' involvement. When a parent see that your child came to me, they didn't know any alphabet, they didn't know anything. Look now in the middle of the year.
Where they are,
What
yes.
the teacher do. And if they were absent, we're sorry, your child didn't improve so much because you were absent 4 out of 5 of 7 times during the semester. So basically, you also convince that also helps with attendance.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Fatima, I'm going to add one more thing.
Connection.
Again, about Sana, the Islamic studies instructor. We talked one time and she's doing this in her class and I loved it. And I really want to steal that idea and implement it, you know, on all class levels. She's keeping all the worksheets from day one in Islamic studies to show the progress of her students to the parents at the end, by the end of the year or by the end of the first semester or the second semester. So that it was a nice folder where she kept all the worksheets, and when you open it, you just see the improvements in on different levels, and that's something that, you know, would be very, very beneficial for the Arabic instructors. You could see throughout the year the progress in terms of handwriting, in terms of writing, content, vocabulary, you know, acquisition, etc., etc. So I feel like it's a good plan. It's a good technique that we can use to share with parents and let them know, hey, this is where your student started at the beginning of the year, and this is where they are at this point of the year. So it's a very, I feel like it's a very insightful a way to show progress, not only for instructors but also for parents.
But it's also research proven. Like the student is knowing their expectation, that they have to progress. The teacher know that they have to make the student progress. She's held accountable against her progress. The student is held accountable for their progress. So everybody is held accountable for showing some kind of learning. And that's the only way I would know, because if I start and the student also does not know in the beginning, you don't tell them, well, this is where we are just informed. Like I said, informal way is the best way, because they don't know they're being tested, because they can play around. They can sit there and say, I don't know any Arabic. Sorry, I can't read any. My kids did that. They knew, and they're like, okay, well, I just did it. So you, as a teacher, that's data collection. So you spend the first few times, it could be actually more than one Sunday, to collect that data. And that's why I like the idea. You very, very nice idea you brought up, Maha, from the person keeping up with because it's not a one. Sometimes getting the data is not easy. Sometimes you have to do one-on-one sessions. Sometimes it has to be an external person doing it. And sometimes the teacher doesn't even have time to do that. Like you have to help the teacher into gathering that data. But that data should be gathered, because that's the only way we're going to help each child. It's the only way. We can't help each child by teaching one curriculum for everybody. That doesn't work. And it's proven by multiple ways that's the only way, is to really get that beginner data. That's the most important. And we look at the progress throughout. It's very good for everyone, for teachers, parents, and it helps a lot of things in the school that we don't realize will help, inshallah, in the future. So that's something I would suggest we start, like, at least bringing up and helping the teacher do that in a very system way, not only specific in the classroom. Then some teachers are always going to go over and do more. That some teachers like to have that data and some don't, but at least those who don't, there's a system that is already there. And it could be, I'm telling you, it could be even external. Like somebody goes and call one by one students in the classroom, and then quickly do a 2 minutes check-in for each student in the classroom. Write their name, write what they're at, and move on. And calculate how much time that would take. So that it could be somebody that is not teaching at that time necessarily, or if you don't want to lose time, because we don't have a lot of time either. Sometimes some places, they make them come even before. Like it's not during Sunday school, it's a specific time where students come in for an evaluation. I'm sure parents would love to do that.
So I like to add, Fatma, we're doing it really well for this in Quran. So we have a set of surah
but we the first day we ask the students where they are, and then we tweak the surahs if somebody are at the
Here we are,
they know
yes.
all the surahs. So
Yes.
yeah, it's very much set in the Quran, but for the other things, yes, we need to work on
Yes,
it.
so Quran, yes, because Quran is more individualized when it comes to Quran. Like, you want to make sure everybody is progressing in their hifd. You don't want to stick them to whatever they're at the same level. So that's another one that is done also like progressively. But I think it should be a data as a school, like I think you should like see where my students are in the beginning of the year, how many students I have and where are they at. And if somebody didn't test yet, I'll go to the classroom, get them out, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, test them, put them back. A 3 minutes oral test for little ones can get me a lot of information about what they know.
Yeah,
I
that's
have a
something
question.
that could be accomplished, Fatima. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a question. I don't know if Sister Nair, you can answer, Maha, any one of you, is that, since we meet only once a week, you assign some homework to the students or anything, right? If there's something troubling situation occurs continuously with the student as well. You know how in public schools, each student has a planner where parents supposed to sign, and you're supposed to monitor that. And this way you engage with the parents as well. You know how Sister Nair has mentioned, sometimes parents are off track. They don't even know, and they come up with questions much later on, and everything has been addressed, but they're not looking at it. So do we have this in this Sunday school where they have some sort of communication that they are writing their homework, what's assigned? If there's anything that we need to communicate with the parents, do we do it directly through the email, or do we have them sign, have a look at it? Because I want parents, especially the younger grades, right? I want them to look at what the homework is, assigned. And if the student was not behaving, or there was something, right? You communicate. So make sure the parents look at it every Sunday, sign it, and return it. So it's part of the student planner as well. So I just for my own knowledge, like, what's a way of for us communicating on a regular basis with parents?
So for the home, Mariam, you want to say, or shall I go?
No, I can tell her. So we have this homework sheet. We on that sheet it says Islamic studies, Arabic, Quran, and then it says note for the parents. And so if there is certain thing that the teacher wants to communicate to for the student to the parents, then they write on it. So that's how we communicate. And then they are in their class groups also. The teachers are there in their class WhatsApp group. They know their parents, so they can also reach out to them via that.
Usually we take the picture of that note, the paper where Islamic studies homework, Quran homework, and the note to the parent. And that picture is also sent to the parent through that WhatsApp group. We have in our Sunweb system, you must have been told by Sister Anila, the Sunweb account. There is also a communication system. And we also have a place to put the disciplinary note for the student if there's any student where we need to mention some disciplinary actions. So Alhamdulillah, we have this in place.
Yes, that's true. And
no
matter
how many things you send to the parents, you just can't make them go open your phone, go to the WhatsApp group and read. You can't do that. But we are sending them emails and everything, but if somebody says, "Oh, we are not in WhatsApp group," though they are in the WhatsApp group, because Anila always, whenever they register their child, Anila enters them in the WhatsApp group, and they say, "Oh, really? Is there a group? We don't know."
That's
that's the thing. Alhamdulillah. I mean, I know there is a progress actually there's a big, I like the school has a system for progress. And I know there's a system for progress already that's set up in the school in communication and progress of the students. I think the only thing that's a little bit needed is the beginning of the year to actually, inshallah, wrap up that progress and really get the overall thing. And inshallah talk about also that involving the students in that progress. Like, this is where you're at. And I think in Quran, they do that more than other subject, but this is where you're at, and this is where I want you to be, what you want to be at. And this is kind of helping all the students that are fourth grade and up. Usually they enjoy in doing that. They enjoy looking at their progress through charts. Sometimes I used to do color charts and have them look at the charts. Oh, look at you were here, now you're here. And they can do charts in 4th grade and they color them even. Oh, now you were in the green zone, look at you can go in the orange zone next time. And they put their own goal. They decide where you want to be. I want at the end of the year, I want to be able to read Arabic. Some kids have big goals. Like they really want to read Arabic at the end of the year. They really want to. So those big goals, we want to help them reach them, especially if they're motivated. And that's kind of, how do we do, where are you at now? Well, now I can recognize the letters. Well, next time I want to do this. So that's how you're going to reach your goal. Do you want to read Arabic at the end of the year? Okay, here's what you're going to do. And that's kind of a helpful way to see where you started with me and where I can get you. The teacher is, I'm supposed to help you reach your goal. So that's something we can start with, inshallah, and we can talk about after your training, Maha, with the teachers, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So it's we're almost at time. I don't want to take too much of the time. I think we talked about most of the things that we discussed, and I think you still have your training, right? And that was very helpful meeting, mashallah. We were able to come up with a lot of things, and we can just, based on the discussions now, you can make, inshallah, your beginning with the teachers good and efficient. And also I'll add and let me know how that goes. That's the plan. And when whatever you realized is still needed after your meeting with teachers, we can even gather again, and I can make my training a bit more specific to the school itself. Once you get more data out of these things that we talked about, like whatever you were not able to finish, or we still needed a specific training in a specific thing, we can work on a hands-on activity. For example, we can model small groups if that's something we want to work on during that August time. So inshallah, we work hand on hand to help with that. But I think data is very important to me, and that's something that I want to gather for teachers, and data from students and teachers. So teachers walk in, let's see how teacher progress, and let's see how students progress as well. So that's something that I want to bring in as something that's important for us to see if we are being efficient, or we're just sometimes implementing those great ideas we have in our minds don't really work. And the only way is to actually be faced to it that it's not working. Like it's just not working. So, and some people can come and say, well, how about you do this? I'm like, well, we did this. We just did it 2 months ago and it didn't work. So like, that's one of the ways we can also convince people who bring in all these wonderful ideas that sometimes some things don't work based on our system. So inshallah, this was beneficial to you, and let me know what you think of this plan, and if you have anything you would like me to focus more on before we leave.
It sounds like a plan, Fatima.
Are you with me?
It is, yes, it is good. So,
inshallah.
Yes, we have a month to, start up everything, settle down, review rules and things with instructors, prepare them for the beginning of the year. And then by the end of August or maybe beginning of September, we can meet again and pinpoint to the things that we need to improve and we need help with, definitely.
Yes.
Inshallah.
After we do our evaluation, that beginning evaluation, which is important.
Inshallah.
That's very important.
Yes,
Beginning
inshallah.
evaluation.
Yeah.
We have to incorporate that into our system because that wasn't there. And you, Fatma, you and I, we need to meet to set our vision and mission more focused, inshallah. So, Jazakallah khair, Fatma. That's very beneficial. I've learned a lot, alhamdulillah. And I'm sure our team also learned something, if not a lot, mashallah, because I see Maha, she is also a teacher's trainer, and I see a lot of talent in Sister Sana also. Sister Maha made a very good presentation for tomorrow's session. I will share that with you also. It's awesome, mashallah. And I know that Sister Sana is also
what time is the
working on
presentation? I can attend.
Oh,
yeah, it's at 11.
It's at 11.
Okay,
And
I'll try to attend, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Okay, so I will turn on the Zoom also because it's on site.
Yes.
But I will
It's at the library.
Will you be able to come to the library? That will be awesome.
I'll try. I'll see if I can
good.
make it, inshallah. I'll see if there's another plan. But if there isn't, then I can come to your presentation now. Because that would be beneficial for me not to repeat also things that
I
you
was
already-
about to say that. Subhanallah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be repeating if you already talked about something and I'll be like, okay, well, again, I'm saying this. I mean, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. I mean, we are in the same page. We're working on the same
Reminders benefit.
Yes. It is.
that not the same way, at least something a bit different. So inshallah,
Inshallah.
I think that'd be good.
And we will have a chance to see the talents of Sister Sana tomorrow. I'm sure she's working hard on her presentation.
I'm trying.
So-
On my first time, so I'm trying.
Sometimes
Inshallah, you all are beautiful leaders, and mashallah,
Yeah.
you are lucky to have all of you together. You inshallah work with your hearts, and
Alhamdulillah.
we all
Alhamdulillah.
may Allah make it successful based on our niyyah. We all have a beautiful niyyah of making this the best we can for our students and our community, inshallah. That's kind of the best. That's our purpose, and we always have that purpose, and it's all in common. We don't have any other purpose. This is the only purpose we have, alhamdulillah. It's for fi sabilillah and for the sake of Allah, and in progressing for the good of all, inshallah. So
Inshallah, Fatma, I'm sure the points you have mentioned, especially for the orientation day, I want to stress my teachers that they need to be very clear in communicating their expectations to the parents. It is something very important, which I may not have stressed if I haven't attended this workshop. Jazakallah khair.
Yeah.
Shall I do the closing door, Fatma? You will do that.
You can go ahead.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal asr innal insana lafi khusr illa allazina amanu wa amilus salihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. See you inshallah tomorrow at library 11 sharp, inshallah. Not 11 sharp, 10:45 sharp.
We're supposed to be there at 10. We have a meeting with
The new
couple of-
candidate.
yes, the new candidates.
Oh, yeah. Oh. 10. Then we need to be there at 9:45.
Yes, we need to be there earlier. Yeah.
That's
All
your
right.
new
Assalamu
teacher
alaikum,
orientation.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Alaikum.
Thank you very much. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase you in your ilm and amal.
Ameen.
Ameen. Wa alaikum assalam.